Today we are going to discuss about rc4 example. So in rc4, as we have seen the concept related to the rc4, we are going to take the 8 number of bit data and we are going to do the process. So initially we have taken the example, that is plain text. It is given as 1222 and the key values as 1236. Now we are going to write our initialize vector, that is s will be represented with the vector. So this vector will contain the values of 0 to 7. So we are taking, since we are taking the 8 number of bits, so we are going to represent by 0 to 7, and we are going to take the temporary vector. This temporary vector should be equal to the initial vector that we are taking. Now the initial vector that we are taking, since if the key is not equal, then what we are going to do? We are going to take the number of bits that are equal to that. So like take down, that is 1236 and 1236, since you will get the 8 number of bits. Then coming to the, in the rc4 algorithm, you have two algorithm, that is one is KSA and one is PRGA, that is pseudo random generator algorithm. So in KSA algorithm, we are going to take the initialization permutation, where you are going to change all the permuted values, that is you are going to swap the values that are there. For that reason we are going to use the KSA. Then we are going to generate the key using the PRGA, and this particular key is XORed with the plain text to get the output. So let us see how we are going to perform the KSA. So in KSA we have the code like the, so I is equal to 0 to 7, J is equal to J plus S of I plus S of J mod 8, and swap S of I comma S of J. So using this we are going to do the process. So since we are initialize the I value to the 0, here we are going to take the S values to 0. Now J values will be represented using the temporary vector. Now let us do the values. For first iteration, for I is equal to 0, for I is equal to 0, we are taking the J values is equal to, since my J value is not there, so initially J value will be also 0. So 0 plus, what is the S of I value? S of 0 value. Now S of 0 value, so since we have represented, the S of 0 value is 0 over here, plus S of J value. Now S of J value will be represented by the temporary vector. So the S of J of 0 value is equal to 1. So my J is equal to 1 over here, mod 8. Mod 8. So 1 mod 8 is nothing but 1 only. Okay. Now swapping the values, S of I. So S of 0 comma S of 1. Now take the vector. So we need to swap the values inside the vector. So my S values becomes like, since I am swapping with 0 to 1, so I am going to get 1, 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now coming to the next step, for I is equal to 1. For I is equal to 1, my J value is equal to, what is my previous J value? My previous J value is 1 plus S of I values. S of I, what is the S of I values? S of I value is 1. So 0, 1. So here the 1 value is 0 plus S of J values. So J is also 1. So what is the value of J here? 0, 1. So value is 2. So mod 8. So what we are going to get? 3 mod 8, that is nothing but J equal to 3. Now swap the values and see. So we are swapping the values, that is S of 1 comma S of 3. So S of one value. S of one value, what is here? S of one value is 0. So we are going to get our vector as 0 and S of 3 values, that is 0, 1, 2 and 3. So 3 is shifted and 0 is shifted over here. So we are going to get 1, 3, 2, 0, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now for I is equal to 2. For I equal to 2, now we are going to take the values j is equal to, what is the value of j here? 3 plus, what is the value of S of I values? S of 2 values, that is 2 plus S of j values. S of j is 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So 6. 6. Sorry, 2. S of 2 values, sorry. 3 mod 8. So what we are going to get the j values as? 6 plus 8. So we are going to get 8 mod 8, which is equal to 0. So j value is equal to 0 here. Then we are going to do the swap of S of 2 comma S of 0. Now what is S of 2 values over here? S of 2 value is 0, 1, 2. Now 2 value is swapped with 0th value. So this will be a swapping. So we are going to get as S is equal to 2 comma 3 comma 1 comma 0, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay. Now for I is equal to 3. For I is equal to 3, j value. What is the j value in the previous one? 0 plus what is my S of I value? 3. That is 0, 1, 2 and 3. So 0 plus j of I. So S of j. So S of j is 0, 1, 2 and 3. So what is the value? 6. 6 mod 8. What is the value I am going to get? The j is equal to 6. j value is equal to 6. Now swapping the values of S of 3 comma S of 6. S of 3 comma S of 6. My S values are, what are the S of 3 values? That is 0, 1, 2 and 3. This with the 3 with the 6 value. 3, 4, 5 and 6. So we are going to swap the values like this. So we are going to get 2, 3, 1, 6, 4, 5, 0, 7. Similarly, for I is equal to 4. Now what is the j value? The I is equal to 4. My j value is equal to 6 plus S of I values. What is the S of I? 4 value? 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So here 4 plus the j value, S of j values. So S of 4, that is 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 1 mod 8. So what we are going to get? We are going to get as 11 mod 8, which is nothing but 3. J is equal to 3. Now swap the values. So swapping the values of S of 4 comma S of 3. S of 4 comma S of 3. Now what is the 4 value? What we are going to get the vector? So since the 4 value, that is 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, then 3 values. So swap these values. So we are going to get 2, 3, 1, 4, 6, 5, 0, 7. Now I is equal to 4. I is equal to 5. For I is equal to 5, what is the j value? Now j value is equal to, previous j value is 3 plus S of I values of 5. That is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we are going to get the value as 5 only, plus the j value. What is the j value here? J value is 3. So S of 5 value. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. What is the value here? 2. 2 mod 8. Now write down the values. That is 10. 10 mod 8. That will represent as the value as 2. Now we can write as swap of values S of 5 comma S of 2. So swap the values. So what we are going to get? We are going to get the vector as S of 5 values. So previously S of 5 values, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 comma 2, that is 0, 1, 2. So swap these values. So you are going to get as 2 comma 3 comma 5 comma 1, 4, 6, 4, 6. This is the value that we are going to get. Then I is equal to 6. For I is equal to 6, what is the j value? Now j value is equal to, what is the previous value? That is 2 plus s of I values. S of I value is 6. Now s of I value from this, that is 6. That is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 0 plus s of j value is 6. So s of j value 6 is nothing but 3 over here. Mod 8. So what is the value that is we are going to get? 5. So j is equal to 5. Then swapping of s of I value, that is 6 comma s of j value, that is 5. Now swap the values and get the vector. So s of 6 comma 5. So 6 comma 5. So we are going to get as 2, 3, 5, 4, 6, 0, 1, 7. Now I is equal to 7. What is the j value? The previous j value is 5. Now s of 7 value is 7 plus the j value is 6 mod 8. So what is the value we are going to get? 11 plus 18. 18 mod 8. What is the value for 18 mod 8? 8 times 18 mod 8. 16. So the value is 2. So the j value is 2. Now swap the values. Swap of s of 7 comma s of 2. So you are going to get the vector as s values as s is equal to s of 7. S of 7 is 7 over here. And what is the 2 value? 5. So we are going to get 2, 3, 7, 4, 6, 0, 1, 5. So these are the values that we are going to get. So once the swapping, initial permutation is performed, then we are going to perform the key value, that is using the PRGA, that is pseudo random generator. In the pseudo random generator, we are going to take the values as I is equal to, initially we are going to represent the code as initially I is equal to 0, j is equal to 0, then I is equal to I plus 1 mod 8, then j is equal to s of j plus s of I mod 8. Then we are going to swap the values s of I comma s of j values. Then we are going to get the temporary values. So in temporary values, we are going to get the values of s of I plus s of j mod 8. That will be your key values. Now s of t value, k is equal to s of t. So like this we are going to perform till the 8 bits. So once you have got the vector, then we have to perform the vector for these values. So first find out the I and j for k values. We need to find out the key. So using the key, So initially I is equal to 0, j is equal to 0. So I is equal to I value, I plus 1. So what is the value of I? 0 plus 1 mod 8, that is 1. Now j is equal to j plus s of I. What is the initial value of j? J plus s of 1 values. S of 1, that is 0, 1. So what is the value here? 3. 3 mod 8. So what we are going to get? Value as 3. Now swap the values of s of I, comma s of j values. Now swap the values of s of I and s of j. So what is the values that we are going to get in the vector? So since the values here is 1 and 3, so we are going to get the values as s of 1, 0, 1. So 2, 1 and 3. So 1 and 3. So 3, 4, 2, 4, 7, 3, 6, 0, 1, 5. Then we have to find out the temporary values, that is 1 plus 3 mod 8, that is 4 mod 8, that is 4 only. Now k is equal to s of t. Now s of t value is equal to s of 4 here. What is the s of 4 value? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that is 6. So once you get the value as 6, the key value, then we are going to take the values as 6, which should be XORed with our plain text first value. What is the first plain text value? That is 1. So represent them in the values. So 6 you can write as 1, 1, 0 and XORed with the 0, 0, 1. So what is the value that is you are going to get? 1, then 1 and 1. So the value is 7.